feelings, and it affects really. I don't know how we feel about when you hear a life is lost. Talk less of lives. Properties are being destroyed. People are being misplaced. And they are taken to camps. I don't know why we enjoy doing what we do. But I think if the May Allah has said that is a retaliation, I think the security agency should step in. It's getting too many. And we cannot continue losing lives. I think we need to live together as one.
But then the Plateau military police deploy more troops, like the headline says, and helicopters. Let me just take the first paragraph. It says, the military and the police have deployed troops in support of efforts to quell the crisis that erupted in parts of Plateau State over the weekend, leading to the death of 86 persons. I think this is a fight against these insurgents, the fight against the killings, trying to eradicate all of this. And it's a good one from the federal government. It's a good one. The military, the police, yes, the troops and the helicopters. Where you have birds in the air, choppers, it's easier to fight crime, especially in cases like this.
Okay, but I know that you can also use drones. You know, it's right now, that's what is in vogue, to quickly attack back. But the president said something different that we're going to also look into today. He said that these are being masterminded by some politicians to cause crisis between the farmers and the haters. We also need to look at it. If there are politicians out there taking advantage of these, will I say uneducated, because some of them are actually educated, of this kind of people that doesn't even know what life is all about. I think we should stop taking advantage of these people. We should look at Nigeria. We should look at ourselves as brothers and sisters. This killing must stop. And that's what we'll do shortly now.
Okay, still on the killings we have here. PDP tackles presidency over Plateau killings. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, yesterday described the president's statement on killings of innocent Nigerians in Plateau State as callous, inhuman, and brazenly divisive, saying the presidency should apologize to Nigerians. The PDP, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Kola Ologbun Dion, said Nigerians expected the presidency to take immediate steps to restore order, safeguard the lives of the people, exact justice, and bring succor to victims of the attacks. Now, I'm just trying to be objective to all extents. I'm not going to put all my blames on the president or the presidency, but then I think the advice from the PDP saying here, okay, we just need a direct order to the killings, to the stoppage of these killings, is the way to go.
I don't know what way to go. All I know is that we must just stop killings. I don't want to know how.
Something drastic.
We just have to do it.
It just has to be done.
We just have to stop these killings, because if you continue like that, do they want to kill everybody in Nigeria? Because right now the AIG has been deployed to the airport because of another information. And so if we have all of these threats, all of this information, all of this kind of information, it's not just what the vice president said. It's not only callous. It's the basin. It's barbaric, where you massacre people.
86
you
people.
Kill people as though you're killing a goat. I think this kind of, it has to stop. But we'll get there soon. Just get ready, and you call us when we open the phone lines.
Okay, I'll just take these two headlines. It says, Kwakwansu fire seek credible, peaceful poll. That is at the Ekiti elections.
All of us seek that. All of us seek
that's the way to go.
A credible poll. I remember in 2015, I was fortunate to cover that election, and I was taken to some areas. For 2015, he's looking for me. He's looking as though it's going to be different this year, you know, where we have different people coming up. 2015, we didn't have a lot of parties came up. We don't have a lot of people coming up like this. I wouldn't say, I would say it was a bit peaceful. But for this year, I don't know, when you hear killings here and there, we pray it's going to be peaceful. It cannot be peaceful if we don't work towards it. So let's pray it's free and fair. Do not let anybody deceive you this time around. You know, don't allow people use you to cause destruction and violence. Take your voter's card and do the right thing, because this year is the coming year. It's going to be different. You know what you want for a country like this? The card will tell you. If they come with brown envelopes or some faces of bags of rice, some candidates' faces on the bags of normally printed of rice, if you take those rice and vote the wrong person, you will suffer for a long time. So let's do the right thing. But that's where we end this segment. We'll go on a break now, and when we come back, Superdawn will continue. Stay with us.
Superdawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen Television. Let your voice be heard. Join us. Superdawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed. Now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
Welcome back. Well, today we want to look at incessant killing, which way forward. What are we going to do to these incessant killings? Every day you wake up, you hear that loads of lives have been lost. And not just losing them, but losing them in such a way that you begin to wonder, are these human beings slicing throats of people? And you wonder what is causing this. Are we like this really, or how did we become this way? That's what we're going to go doing today on this program, looking at the way forward. How can we stop this I wanted to say madness. How can we stop these killings? It is getting too many. So we're going to put on the phone lines for you to call immediately. If you think you have an idea or solution how we can stop this, please do call us as we continue into this discussion. Well, with us this morning, we have Barrister Ladipo Johnson. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Vera, and good morning to you. Good morning to the viewers.
Well, we're looking at incessant killings in Nigeria, and we must actually take you now to what happened recently in Plateau State, where over 86 people lost their lives. How did we manage to get to where we are today?
Firstly, let me say that as with all Nigerians, I hope, we believe that it is a terrible situation. We commiserate with the families of those who have lost their loved ones. As you said when you were introducing the topic, in many states, especially around the North Central, this problem has been going on. It is unfortunate, highly unfortunate, that it would seem that the security apparatus has no answer at the moment. That is what it seems like. Or that they're totally incompetent, or, as someone put it today on Facebook, they're complicit, as with what General Danjuma said, that something is going on.
So how did we get to this point? That's the question.
Unfortunately, Nigerians, I'm sorry, on average, Nigerians are not empathetic. Life doesn't mean much to a lot of Nigerians. I'll tell you why I say that. I know it's a general statement, and some will say that's a wrong statement. When you drive along the expressway, Vera, and you see a motor crash, and about 5-10 people are dead on the road, the next thing you see is your car stops, some people stop. I say, what a shame. That van got burnt, or it's somersaulted, and everything. And the next thing, you go right back within 20 seconds. Tonight, Kanu is doing this, the match, blah, 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 blah. You continue. That is Nigeria. You will not find or hear of the fact that after the carnage was removed and cleared off the expressway, there was maybe an inquiry into it. It was caused by a one-off tire, or this is what caused the vehicle to somersault. In commercial buses, we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do that. People at the back shouldn't be packed like sardines, things like that. I'm just using an example to show you what we do or what we do not do as a country and as a society. Same thing. A child gets burnt in a chemistry lab in the school. You cannot sue the school. People will say, don't worry, don't sue them. Just thank God that the child is alive.
So, Barrister, are you now saying that Nigerians at this point are now very remorseful and heartless, that to the extent these killings are current?
If Nigerians...
You mean they are not remorseful?
Well, we're not, yes.
If
Nigerians cared about each other, this government would be facing a vote of no confidence right now, based on what has been happening. Because it's nothing new. It's been happening and we haven't seen any concrete steps. There were probably more policemen at the convention of the that was being held over the weekend than there were covering the streets. Maybe an exaggeration, but you know what I'm trying to say. There are probably more policemen, armored personnel vehicles, this and that. They gave us a long list of security for the convention at the weekend. This problem has been occurring. You have problems in Benue, Plateau, Taraba. You also have, at times it spills into places like Kwara or what have you. You also have so many killings in Zamfara, even more than in Benue and Taraba. And we haven't seen any, I know they're taking steps. We haven't seen any concrete steps. We haven't been told, we were told that we went to sign a deal, or we spent money without appropriation to get some fighter jets that will come in 2 years' time. What is the, you will always have a short-term solution, medium-term solution, and then long-term solution.
Do you think our military, our armed forces are not capable enough to handle this?
I don't think the issue is not that they're not capable enough. I don't think we're geared, or they have been geared towards stopping something like this, or fighting it, or nipping it in the bud. You understand what I'm saying? We've been fighting, for instance, when the Boko Haram thing increased. We saw that it was a different sort of war, a different sort of battle. It's not just going facing each other. This was like urban, and you had people hiding as suicide bombers. It's a different type of war. This is also a different type of war. Because from what I have studied regarding the Fulani herdsmen, now, it could be the Fulanis here in Nigeria. It could be those migrating or moving down from Mali, from Niger, from anywhere. What is happening to our borders? By now we should know that we have a satellite-enabled defense system around the borders of Nigeria. Anything moves, they pick it.
Okay, let's come into the causes. Though, yes, there have been series of comments and reactions. As a matter of fact, the governor of Edo State, Obaseki, once said that they suspect that these headsmen are not really headsmen, but they are some set of Boko Haram disguised as headsmen. And on the part of the president, he is attributing his killings to political gains. What's your take on that? The causes?
Firstly, I think over the years, we've had it with the headsmen. They tell you that this is a cattle grazing route. They come onto they've gone onto my farm. I have a farm in Oyo. Cleared my crops, destroyed. You understand? So it happens. We've had that. Now, whether or not they have now been infiltrated by, say, remnants of Boko Haram or what have you, is not for you and I to decide. It's for the intelligence agencies that we have. that you pay so much. It is for them to know if that is the situation. Now, as to what Mr. President said about politicians, I will not even justify it with an answer. He's talking nonsense.
No, you think Mr. President cannot say nonsense, but do you think...
Why can't he say nonsense, Vera? Please, please. This is a democracy. You know I don't talk this way.
Wait.
I don't talk this way.
Do you think...
That issue, forget what he said. Forget what he said. Well, he's asked the question, we're talking intelligently. You don't come and tell us that it's just politics. If it were politics or politicians, why don't you deal with them? What we're saying is bring a solution to this thing. Be proactive. Prevent it. We're not saying someone caused it, or your brother caused it, or your sister caused it, therefore you can't do anything. That shows that you are incompetent. So that is why I say don't even let us justify his own statement or Garba Shewu's statement with an answer. Nigerians are trying to prefer solutions to the problem we have on ground. Not that you are thinking about 2019 elections and saying that it's because of politicians. They said more against Jonathan when it was the Boko Haram problem.
Do you think that some people somewhere just want to frustrate any president that comes there?
If some people somewhere are frustrating the president, it is people trying to bring down the country. It is your duty as the chief security officer of this country. You understand what I'm trying to say? My position is this. Whether it is being done from your village or from someone next to you in your cabinet or the opposition, whether they are coming genuinely believing that it is their grazing route or they are their grazing routes, or whether it is some Fulani tribe or whatever from Mali coming to revenge something that happened for 30 years ago or 20 years ago. My take on it is that it is left for the intelligence agencies to tell you, Mr. President, that this is the cause or these are the causes.
Omeyete Ali has come out to say that it's a retaliation. Now, what do you think we need to be doing right now?
You have some, I don't know what has happened to, I believe his name is Danladi Chiroma. I don't know whether the police have ever called him to talk to him. And that is part of the problem. And that's why they are now talking at politicians. Of course, the politician will say it. It's not about taking advantage. It's about saying that, look, vote for me. This man is incompetent. And they have a right to say it. So it is not an answer that people are trying to use it for politics. They will try to use it for politics. If you were efficient, if you had reduced, no one says stop it totally, because we know that once things like this begin, it's difficult to stop. Look at the Boko Haram. They tried. Buhari tried. They contained them to a certain extent. When they said they were going to eradicate it, I said to someone then, I said, no, someone that was close to the government. I said, that is the wrong phrase to use. You can't eradicate it. Tell Nigerians we will contain it. We will, you understand, suppress it. But when you have people who are willing to commit suicide, you can't stop them. Once in a while, one will get through. But you contain it. Okay. So with this one, it's so sad.
Speaking of politics, the PDP, they have accused the presidency of all of this spate of killings. But when you look at these things, should we be pointing fingers at the top, or there are other things that we as Nigerians or the forces should be doing?
Well, as Nigerians, those in the primary constituency where the problems are, or where the problem is, that's the middle belt mostly, their role is different from our role. They have to be more aware. If the security agencies are cooperating, I'd like to believe they're cooperating. I don't say I want to disbelieve General Danjuma. I'd like to hope General Danjuma is wrong. I'd like to believe that the security agencies are cooperating. Then they should have a system whereby Once, I said it before on this program, once you see herdsmen moving or coming, immediately there should be in a temporary system, short-term solution. There should be a way to track them. The moment you encounter them, if you have, what do you call those things? Patrols or whatever. I'm not a security expert, but as a layman, I would think that once you hit them, you must have a way to track them. There must be a place they get to, and they have to be registered, in quotes. Not like we go to a local government to register. They have to be registered so that you can track them through their so-called grazing routes and know as they're going and coming back. And then you have a feedback system from people, either through local governments or through communities or what have you. That's one. You can have drones. How much are drones now with all these security votes? You can have drones from different points, taking off from different points.
But Barrister,
looking at the area.
That's a very good one. But then, do we even need this? As far as my knowledge, I know that these herdsmen, they move with their cattle. They are very, very visible. Very visible.
They're
so
very
why
visible.
have they not been able to be nabbed?
No. You see, I'm even what I am saying. I think we have a call from Andrew.
Okay, Andrew, good morning to you.
Hello?
Good morning to you, Andrew. Which way forward?
I can hear you. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you. Which way forward? Which way forward? What do you think?
Now. The way forward is very simple. The security apparatus is zero. That is number one. Because we are looking for a way forward. If we have very few allergic anything, that means we are not anywhere. The statement that Juma made was very right. Because what the report you are hearing is that because people escorted the Fulani, after they declared the country, they escort them throughout the night. So what I'm saying? The problem is the government are saying, Fulani is not ready to do it. Fulani is the Fulani.
How do we go forward? How do we go forward?
There's no way forward because if the
no way forward,
they will stop Fulani for cattle all over the places. In the night, in the afternoon, everywhere. You watch the National Assembly yesterday, they were grazing their cattle in the National Assembly state. What are we talking about?
Okay, thank you for calling. We need way forward. Yes, you were talking about the grazing routes and the rest.
Yes.
Anthony, yes.
Sorry?
He said, can't we handle this?
Yes. I think, look, they must, I mean, that was why I was so disappointed in what Vice President Oshibajo said, that we're resolved to, as if the issue has just started. You understand? The thing there is, you must look at ways, move people to that area, security agents. And it is not, it is something that is more intelligence gathering like. You must develop a way to track each, I don't know what you call them, grazing, whatever. You have to track them through. I was going to say, yes, just before Andrew called, that Nigeria is not so big. Yes, it is. And we have a lot of people, but each state in Australia is geographically bigger than Nigeria. I'm not talking population. So why can't we secure what we call Nigeria? Yes, we say in Africa, we're very big or whatever.
Is this overwhelming? Can our security agency, do you think?
Of course they can.
But before you answer, let's get this caller. Lekon, good morning to you. Lekon, good morning to you.
How are you, ma?
Beautiful. Which way forward? Give us your solution.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
Lekon, go ahead. Give us a solution.
My own point of view on this, what's going on in this country is that we have president that is not capable or that is not informed by the people's plan. I can remember very well, some time ago, if the head of the military defense is not obeying his order, if it is in one place, meanwhile the man is in another place. So to me, the solution is that Nigeria should be prepared to use our total card to change bad government completely.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let's allow other people make their contributions. Thank you, Lekon. Yes. Can military personnel and armed forces, can they really handle this? And if they can, why are we not seeing the results?
Vera, I believe that the Nigerian military is a professional military unit. I believe they can handle it. Now, whether they have the equipment to fight the sort of battle that we're talking about, it's not just taking them to one field and clear everybody towards Anambra and that way. It's not that simple, what we're facing with these people. But I believe that if they have the proper equipment, and if the leadership wants, if I, not trained in security, whatever, can begin to think about, okay, why don't we use drones? Why don't we find a way of tracking them as they're coming in? I'm sure, I assure you, the security forces know 10 times more than I'm saying.
Are you saying the president is not feeling this loss?
What
is that what you're saying?
I want to say, you are preempting me, Vera, is that we lack the political will to find a solution. I tell you, if Mr. President really, he was the one, they were the ones talking about body language. If really he is, do you know how long it took him to condemn these things? He hasn't come out to say this is criminal. How many herdsmen have ever been arrested, charged, not even convicted? It will take some time.
But last year he said that if you're caught, you go to court.
Yes, I know, if you're caught. And how many have been caught? Politically, they're catching people. The SP, or what do you call him, Senate President, he's been fingered in, what's it called? Armed robbery. Meanwhile, people are killed, and within 100 miles of that, you don't arrest anyone moving cattle. You can't go by helicopter. The police have helicopters and say, okay, this place, there's some there. You don't pick them up and say, where were you? Whatever, whatever. Okay, let's take DNA samples from you. We will keep you for 2 days. Sorry. It's bailable, we'll keep you for 2 days. Let's take DNA samples from you. From those that have been killed, are they taking DNA samples from those killed? Or are they just giving them mass burials? Shoving away and quickly burying evidence?
If you were in the president's shoes, what would you be doing at this point?
Vera, if I were in the president's shoes, one of the first things I would have done was to get the immigration, customs, the military, different arms of the military, because they're there. Even the Navy, whatever, they're not fighting wars. So get them. Say, let's have a joint task force. How do we? Let's first secure the borders properly. Someone is trying to build a wall along the Mexican border, as wide as it is. You understand? We're not even saying, let's spend that sort of money. How do we secure our borders with technology? $3, $4, $5 million. I know this, I'm saying it because I know what they've done with the maritime border. It can be done. Why hasn't the government done it?
Okay, there's another caller. Effiong, good morning to you. I'll come back to you. Good morning to you, Ifyo.
Good morning, madam.
Okay, good morning.
Yes, I'm calling from the school today.
Okay, way forward. What do you think we need to do now?
With this instant of people in Nigeria here, we are talking about this by people and good people that find arms to all these militants. This thing will stop in Nigeria. By the time you specify those people and brought them to book, these things will not stop. All this stopping. People are here, they do not have enough place to go and find these things for themselves. I don't think that in Nigeria there are people that are invoking those arms to these people for them to use to be. So if we don't, I think those people have comfort them and brought them to go, this thing will not stop. Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling. Yes, Anthony, you wanted to ask a question.
Okay, as regards solutions,
Yes.
People have been clamoring for the headsmen to be declared a terrorist group. As a matter of fact, Senator Ben Bruce, in an interview with Superscreen TV, also said that too. He would like if the president declared them a terrorist group. But then the presidency has come out to say, okay, we can't declare them terrorists, and he gave his reasons. Looking at all of these reasons and the clamor for this terrorism, what's your take? What would you prefer?
Well, on this question, this issue, I think I would support the presidency. The herdsmen are like, they're herdsmen, it's a part of farming. It's a way of life. It isn't one singular group that has come together and said that this is what we want to achieve. We want to kill all farmers, we want to clear everywhere so that our cattle can have a field day. They haven't said that. Some are peaceful, they graze, they go back. In fact, if you go to places like Ibarapa or your state, you see them, they're well integrated into the community there. So I wouldn't subscribe to a blanket labeling or declaration that they're terrorist groups. I won't. But the groups, they should be watched. They need to be a group that is on the watch list or a people on the watch list. I'm sorry, they do. Nigerian passports at a time were on the watch list for cocaine trafficking. You understand? They have to be a set of people of interest to the security agencies.
I'll come back to you again. There's another Muhyiddin, I guess. Good morning to you. Muhyiddin, good morning to you.
Yes.
Muhyiddin.
I'm so sympathetic with the Christians. Yeah, one challenge. Most magic for why. Yes, one trying for them to see back now. One value power for that people offending. That's what I would buy.
Okay, I don't know.
It says
President Buhari values cows.
more than the people of Benue.
Okay, your thoughts? Yes.
Well, that's not a solution. We're talking
But
about the
we're
way
looking for
forward.
solution. When you call, give us a solution. There must be a way out. We must be part of governance, so there must be a way out. But looking at what you were saying before now.
Yes, I was saying that one of the first things I do is to bring together a joint task force, as it were. How can we secure the borders so that we know we're dealing with those that are in, right? Then we now look for a way of tracking them. As you are getting them, you are identifying them. Look, how much are tracking systems? How much are tracking systems? Okay, I'm sorry, the courts may say right to freedom of movement, that it is unconstitutional. The first thing is, are these people Nigerians? That's the first question. If they are the Fulani stock from Nigeria, then it's more difficult. But what is wrong? There are tracking systems everywhere.
Okay, but this last caller before we did, there's an Effiong that called and talked about those arms.
Yes,
you know,
with the arms.
Proliferation of arms in this country. How can we track this, the owners of this
with
arms?
With the arms that they carry? We now have to balance it. You see, I'm not just here to. I'm not trying to criticize government. We have to balance it. We had the problem of cattle rustlers. The herdsmen would be peacefully...
I'll come back to you. Let's get this caller. Monday, good morning to you.
Hello.
Monday, good morning to you.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Give us your solution. Tell us the way out. Okay. Okay. I think
We've lost you.
Okay, you're still there. Yes, tell us the solution. You have to change down the volume of your TV set first. But go ahead. One day, are you there? Okay. I think we need to go. So how do we mop up all of these infiltrated arms in this country and begin to look for the owners of these arms?
Yes, as I was saying, Vera, the herdsmen faced a problem. And that was that they had cattle rustlers attacking them.
Yes.
Now, for you and I, we look and say, why is this man carrying an AK-47 if he's just protecting cattle? But when you look at it, let's say each one is 100,000 naira, right? And you're moving with, say, 100 of them. How much is that? Millions on the move. And you sit there and they just, none of us will go to the bank to collect 100 million and not take extra and just walk on the street with the bag open, showing that you have 100 million.
So you think they're taking this
so
funds?
the people who own these cattle that are being...
The original owners.
Would, having lost a lot to cattle rustlers, would naturally, illegally pay for their herdsmen, shepherds, what have you, herdsmen in this case, to protect. To solve this problem, you have to look at all sides. They would naturally want to protect what they have from cattle rustlers. And I think it started from there. And then they found that they had more firepower than local vigilante groups or local villages and what have you. But if what Tony was saying, if we should put that in, that they were infiltrated, or that the people who are actually doing this thing are not Fulani herdsmen, but then that makes even more sense. But now the herdsmen, unlike what Mr. President, and this time I will not tell you, I will not say that he's a liar, unlike what he said with President Trump, that they only carry sticks, or what did he say they carried, and maybe little, the Fulani man only carried his change. We've seen pictures, and the people who have faced them in different communities, who have suffered and are victims, will tell you the sort of firepower they came with.
So looking at all of these things, because these communities that were affected recently in Plateau State, it's been peaceful for some time. Do you think if an urgent step is not taken, these guys can come again and attack again? Remember that the Vice President said
it's a culture.
It's inexcusable. Violence is inexcusable. Do you think they might come back again?
Look, Tony, you have to look at the culture. The Fulani culture is such. They'll tell you, it's not, I'm not saying they're bad people, they're not. If they have a fight in a particular place, it may take them 10 to 15 years. They will go, they will come back to that place to revenge. So it is a culture. So if we do not take steps to block these things, it will just keep increasing until you either give up to, give in to them, or something else happens. So government, this government, and this government, if I'm going to speak as a politician, is running out of time. This government or the next government must ensure that security-wise, regarding this problem, they must hit the ground running and put solutions in place.
Well, before now,
Yeah.
One of the things that made these killings aggravated was the open and the anti-open grazing law.
Yes.
Now, to prefer a solution, the federal government has said they will set up ranches in 10 states and have assigned billions of naira. Would you say that is an edge?
Well, firstly, with such a thing, there is so much prejudicial thinking. Before the issue of ranches came about, I sat with friends and we started to discuss the matter. And I said that, look, yes, why not ranches? Ah, Ladipo, what are you saying? We don't even want them to come at all. I said, won't you eat meat any longer? We'll eat fish. We'll do this. I said, come on. There is a problem. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, as I say. Let us look at it. But in trying to bring about the ranches, the average Nigerian, the average Yoruba man or Igbo man will not accept. He believes it is part of a jihadi thing, that you're coming to take their land, what have you. Now, yes, it is a way of life. By now, the other alternative is that government itself should have started to educate the Fulani people and say, look, even if you stay here in the north and have a ranch, you can breed your cattle this way, not necessarily grazing. We can grow
into another person's land.
We can grow grass, right? Feed them with processed feed, with grass or what have you. Why isn't government also looking at that? Because yes, it is a way of life. They are herdsmen, they are nomads. It is a way of life. But you've seen that this thing will, if not taken care of, lead to war.
So, but finally, we must wrap up now. The solution, you've started telling us some of the solutions. Maybe we need to just put it together. Your solution and what you think this administration needs to do now.
In the short term, increase patrols, secure the borders, manpower-wise. Some will get through, some will not.
Okay, I'll come back to that. Let's just take this last caller. Hello, Monday. Good morning to you.
Please, you people are saying the way forward. The way forward is only to Buhari from defeat. Because we are getting ahead. If you are sponsoring all these henchmen. Because I don't see the reason why henchmen is killing people all over the place. And the number one citizen of this country is keeping quiet. And it doesn't take him 1 second to declare IPOB terrorist group. And they ask him to declare henchmen terrorists. and refuse. So the only way forward is only to move out of this.
Okay, thank you so much. Your thoughts? Yes.
Yes.
In
So,
wrapping up.
yeah. You look at those short-term solutions. Medium term, you get technology. Technology to help you track, oversee all these areas. You can do it. Drones, what have you, not as expensive as the fighter jets that they went to pay Trump for before a visit or whatever. You do that. In the long term, you have to change that way, that cultural way of life. People are prejudiced, people are not happy, the country is divided. So people will not accept in the long term your, what was it that we said, colony or your ranch in their areas of their land. Even if it is government land, people do not feel safe anymore with knowing that they are there. Because the
So they should finally, you are saying that they should move to the northern parts and get them grazing, get them
the
feed.
killings are in the northern part, Vera. I'm not
Okay,
saying
sorry,
move to the
so where
northern.
they should move?
Move to wherever.
Wherever.
You understand? Even the people in the north central don't want them
Oh my
anymore.
God.
It's quite clear.
We just
So you have to do that, but we have to introduce another sort of cattle rearing that is not grazing other people's lands. That is a long-term thing.
Thank you so much, Barrister Ladipo Johnson.
Thanks for
coming
having
in
me.
this edition of the program. Well, because we do need solution, and if you have solution, tomorrow is another day. Keep calling us. Let's look for a lasting solution to all of this. But we'll go on this break now, and we'll be right back.
Superdawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.